morning. I'm Angelo Castro III.
I'm Angela, and we are the Castros.
We bring you the news.
And the views that make you think.
Sometimes we agree.
Sometimes we don't.
This is News and Views.
And here are today's headlines.
A new survey shows nearly half of Filipinos believe the Senate is intentionally holding off the impeachment of Vice President Sara Duterte.
5 out of 21 Filipino crew members have been rescued from a sunken ship in the Red Sea.
A group of lawmakers is pushing for the mandatory teaching of the West Philippine Sea in schools.
U.S. President Donald Trump has set a 20% tariff on Philippine goods.
Some lawmakers are echoing the public's frustration over the delay in Vice President Sara Duterte's impeachment trial. A new survey shows nearly half of Filipinos believe the Senate is intentionally holding off the proceedings. Here's the report.
It's been 5 months since the House of Representatives transmitted the articles of impeachment against Vice President Sara Duterte to the Senate. But so far, no pretrial has taken place. A new social weather station survey shows that 44% of 1,200 respondents believe the Senate is deliberately delaying the trial. Several congressmen agree, saying the Senate is just dribbling the ball on the impeachment case.
Malinaw na malinaw po na talaga nagkakaroon ng delay kung ano-anong mga invented technicalities at invented issues ang ginagawa nila.
Kahit anong gawin ng Senado na hindi sumusunod sa utos ng saligang batas ay lumalabag sa ating konstitusyon.
Ramdam na ramdam yung delay. Inaasahan ng taong bayan ang Senado gagawin ng trabaho, pero hanggang ngayon, nga pa rin.
Beyond the delay, the same survey finds that 42% of Filipinos oppose the impeachment of Vice President Duterte. That's why the VP says the complaint should be dismissed.
It's a pure political persecution at harassment. Dapat bang ibasura? Tingnan ng mga senator judges yung mga arguments namin.
But House prosecutors strongly disagree.
Kung may ebidensya, that is a legitimate prosecution. As far as we are concerned, we have ample and strong evidence supporting the 7 articles of impeachment.
The Senate is expected to convene as an impeachment court on July 29 when the 20th Congress opens session.
Vice President Sara Duterte revealed that her father, former President Rodrigo Duterte, wants to be cremated in the Netherlands if he dies while in ICC detention in The Hague. According to the Vice President, her father specifically requested that his remains not be repatriated and that only his ashes be returned to the Philippines. Although she is not in favor of cremation, the Vice President said she will honor her father's wishes. VP Sara earlier disclosed that her father has lost weight and now appears frail since his detention.
Kung mamatay daw siya dito sa...
And joining us today is Representative Terry Ridon to discuss the impeachment of Vice President Sara Duterte, among other issues. Congressman, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
All right, Congressman, let's get right to it. How do you respond to claims that, well, even some senators say that this impeachment is just a witch hunt?
Well, again, like what we said earlier, this is a hunt for the truth. This is a hunt for accountability. This is a hunt for transparency in government. So I think the impeachment trial should proceed in the soonest time. And the Senate should fulfill their constitutional mandate to try and decide the impeachment of Vice President Sara Duterte.
Kong Terry, you have recent statements regarding the impeachment trial of Vice President Sara Duterte, saying or reminding the public about who is Mary Grace Piatos, among other things. Do you feel medyo naiiba na kasi yung narrative? That's why you have to do this, to remind the public the very essence of the impeachment trial?
Well, the narrative has never changed from the very beginning. The reason why the 19th Congress and the 20th Congress are proceeding with the impeachment of Vice President Sara is clearly because there had been a misuse of confidential funds. No? And we had seen it. We had seen the use of safe houses in which she had rents as high as exclusive villages or condos in BGC. So these expenditures should be made to account, no? And the Vice President should definitely explain to the public as to how these funds were spent in such a short time.
Well, given the preponderance of evidence, some people would say that medyo siguro natatakot ang kampo nila Vice President Sara Duterte kaya ayaw daw papuntahin sa impeachment. Ang other side of the argument is they're using the word jurisdiction of kung nasa tamang jurisdiction daw ang complaint sa Senado. Now, do you think the Senate is dribbling this issue way too long?
Well, we have a great faith in the Senate impeachment court that as soon as the Senate leadership is determined by the day of the State of the Nation address, they would proceed with the impeachment trial in the soonest time. And therefore, the House prosecution should be allowed to present their evidence, should be to present their case, and for the defense, for Vice President Sara Duterte, to present her explanation on how all of these funds were spent, and secondly, on whether or not she was really serious about the threats against the President, the First Lady, and the Speaker of the House.
Well, what is your response, Congressman, to the what I think Senator Bato yesterday said that the issue of putting it forward for dismissal is still on the table, but he will still try to question jurisdiction. What is your response to that? That Bato said possible that he will file a motion to dismiss.
Well, obviously, everything is on the table at the moment, and senators are free to make decisions on what motions they would want to make. But again, motions in the Senate impeachment court are supposedly made by either the prosecution or by the defense. And like what senators had already stated, some senators had already stated, it is not for the senators to make motions to dismiss. Because the constitutional obligation and within the rules of the Senate impeachment court, they're mandated to basically decide, hear the case, and make a determination on whether to convict or whether to acquit the Vice President.
VP Sara has reiterated in her recent interviews saying that when you're dealing with intel operations, you don't really give out the real names of the persons or of your sources, hence justifying the names of Mary Grace Piatos among other junk food names. What do you have to say to that? And you also said that there are questions that remain unanswered regarding the confidential fund. Can you elaborate that as well?
Well, obviously, the platform for presenting this case is not in the public, but in the Senate impeachment court itself. No? So, if her defense is that they are using fictitious names, and we will have to make a determination on whether or not COA rules allow this, whether or not other rules in government relating to the use of confidential funds and intelligence funds actually allow the use of fictitious names in the receiving of confidential or intelligence funds. So I think the best place for the Vice President to make this presentation is at the Senate impeachment trial itself.
But what do you have to say about COA's recently granting OVP highest audit rating report?
Well, obviously, this is part of government regulation, audit rules, no? And even if you have like sterling audit reports, it doesn't mean that you're outside of scrutiny anymore. No? So I'm quite certain that even if COA has a differing view on how the OVP had spent its funds, it is within the Congress's oversight functions to also make a differing view, particularly on the use of confidential funds.
Kong, before we move on to another topic, I would like to ask Kong if there's a possibility or were you asked na mapabilang no, sa prosecution panel para sa impeachment trial?
Well, it's a bit early to make this determination because I think the first order of business is to make a determination on who the House Speaker will be. No? So I think we're very much focused on our own advocacies and obviously, we have our own positions on the impeachment as well. So we will leave it to the leadership on whether or not we will be part of the prosecution panel.
Well, moving forward, you mentioned as to who the House Speaker will be. My question is, your group, saan po kayo papanig? Minority, majority? And it's very tricky right now, Congressman, because there's an opposition bloc that claims to be the opposition, which is the Duterte bloc. There is also a bloc that claims to be the true opposition. So saan kayo papanig?
Well, the determination of the Congress leadership will be determined on the day of the State of the Nation address. So I guess we have to wait and see, no, on who will emerge as the House Speaker. But I think to be very clear, the current House Speaker, Speaker Martin Romualdez, has at least 285 congressmen supporting him. No, so I'm not quite certain whether or not challengers can actually surmount this particular number. No,
But are there
to challenge
challengers?
his leadership.
Meron po bang nagcha-challenge sa leadership ni House Speaker at the moment? Would you know any?
But I think there are names that are being floated around, but they themselves haven't confirmed whether or not they're going to challenge. So I think congressmen are going to be waiting until the day of the SONA.
Anyway, the reason why I ask is madami nakatingin sa block nyo, no, kung saan kayo papanig. It's because sa Senate, medyong nagulat ang iba sa movement nila Senator Kiko and Senator Bam, possibly allying with the majority. So, do you see any more of those, close to shocking shifts in the Congress, aside from your group, from the other groups?
Well, I think we are forming the minority bloc at the moment. No? So I think there is a direction in which Congressman Nonoy Libanan
Yes.
would still be minority leader. So several of progressive lawmakers had already made their positions known that they will actually support Congressman Nonoy Libanan as minority leader.
I'd like to ask you also now a very controversial issue right now, yung gambling. What is your stance?
Yes.
Outright ban, or would you like
Stricter.
to regulate it?
Well, the debate has started, and I think ultimately it is Congress and the Senate that will make a determination on whether to make a strict regulation or whether to actually ban online gambling outright. But we've already stated their position on the matter. Very important to have a strict regulation, particularly on access. No, so a particular chunk of it would be to decouple access of online gambling apps from e-payment platforms. I will state it like GCash and Maya, and online banking apps. No, because particularly it has fed instantaneous cash in, no, of ordinary Filipinos into online gambling apps. So that is the first chunk of the reforms that we have to be able to do. And second, we support the position of Senator Sherwin Gatchalian for a higher cash in. So we would like a minimum 10,000 cash in for those that would want to participate in online gambling. No? So the idea of this would basically be for ordinary Filipino families to rethink whether or not 10,000 pesos would be better spent on
right.
online gambling, or better spent on rent, better spent on groceries, better spent on basic commodities and other expenses.
Kasi cash in ngayon is 100 pesos eh.
But what do you have to say those who argues po, Kong, na yung implications ng online gamblings per se, ano? Saying na, okay, we have revenues from it, billions of pesos. In fact, noong 2024, we had 300 plus billion na revenue from it. Pero yung implications over the family, yung mental health issues ng mga kababayan natin, we had stories like mga magsasaka na nag-gamble, 'di ba? Yung mga ganung stories sa Kong. What do you have to say to that?
No, I understand this particular plight of ordinary Filipinos on losing so much money in gambling, and I'd like to state it, whether it is an outright ban or whether it's a strict regulation, I will support it, no? So we can choose naman po either, no? But obviously, even without the law on strict regulation or on a ban, PAGCOR and other government agencies can actually, also the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, can actually implement these particular strict restrictions. No? So, BSP is the lead agency regulating e-payment platforms, so and the online banking apps. No? So, the BSP can therefore make rules to decouple the accounts, no, of online gambling applications from e-payment platforms and from online banking apps. So I think BSP can actually undertake this in the soonest time, no? If government is of the idea that online gambling is actually a scourge for ordinary Filipinos. And second, the PAGCOR can of course, no, force online gambling apps to evolve their own payment platforms as soon as it is decoupled from popular e-payment platforms.
Also, Kong, other issues, well, we all know what you've been pushing for in the 19th Congress, but in the upcoming 20th Congress, what more can we expect from you and your group? Also, ang katanungan ng iba, how about the anti-dynasty bill? May pag-asa pa ba daw ang FOI bill? Ang daming legislation daw na hinahanap ng ibang kababayan natin.
Sa inyong
Well, to be very-
pagbabalik sa
Sa
Senado.
inyong pagbabalik sa
Ay, sa Senado, sa Congress.
Ano ang may expect natin sa grupo nyo?
Well, to be very clear, no, our first campaign promise is basically to push for Bicol Rail, no, particularly yung pong high-speed rail ng Bicol
Yes.
to Southern Tagalog to Metro Manila. We already filed. That is our first resolution because that is our campaign commitment that we will jumpstart the high-speed rail preparations. No? So we are urging the Department of Transportation to undertake in the soonest time the feasibility studies, no, relating to this. The right-of-way for Bicol Rail is already there. It is in place. So it is really more of undertaking the study and the costs and the manner by which high-speed rail from Bicol to Southern Tagalog to NCR can actually be undertaken, whether it's on a PPP mode or whether it's on an ODA mode, like through multilateral or bilateral loans with other countries.
All right, on to another note, Kong, you also have a reaction to the resolution that was recently filed by Senator Robin Hood Padilla seeking to bring FPRRD back home from his detention in The Hague. Can you elaborate your stand on that? And also, what do you have to say doon po sa recent report namin before you came in, si Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte ay payat po ngayon and he even has
Very frail.
wishes.
He's very
diba?
frail.
Kapag siya ay namatay, to be cremated, and etc. Your thoughts on that po?
Well, again, like what we had already stated, I think until proceedings are finished in the International Criminal Court, the Philippine government has no power to bring the former president back home. No? And I think that is basically the proceedings in the International Criminal Court. No? Unless an interim release is granted, and even if there's an interim release, he will not be sent home because the Philippines is not anymore a party to the International Criminal Court. So the only way for the president to actually be brought home is when he is acquitted in the ICC trial. No? So we hope that it is finished in the soonest time. So if it is the idea of the senators that are supporting this resolution for him to be brought back home, the first requirement would be for him to be acquitted. And the second, of course, is for the Philippines to take him back in. No? So I think the sooner the trial is finished, I think the better for the former president.
Yung ano po, yung second question ko po kanina regarding dun sa sinabi ni VP Sara about his wishes when he dies. Do you have
Well,
a
of
comment
course,
on that?
I think it's a personal matter between family members. No, so we respect, of course, his wishes on the matter, and but again, we should not lose sight of the fact as to why the former president is in the International Criminal Court at the moment. He is being made to account for extrajudicial killings during his time up until the time that he was president of the Philippines, until the time that we had left the International Criminal Court. And these are serious crimes because these are deaths of ordinary Filipinos as a result of the Duterte drug war. No? So, of course, we commiserate with his old age. No? But again, it is a matter of justice, it's a matter of truth, and we hope that the International Criminal Court will decide based on evidence on whether or not the former president is guilty of all of these things.
Speaking of the ICC, Congressman, I think the administration is mulling or discussing amongst themselves whether or not we should return to it. Exploratory sila. What is your stand on that? Should the Philippines explore, at the very least, a return to the ICC?
Well, I think as part of the community of nations, no, it is very imperative for the Philippines to raise its international standing and to reflect their commitment to human rights for the Philippines to return to the International Criminal Court. No? So I think that is something that should be welcomed by everyone. In fact, exempt for the Duterte administration. It has been the commitment of each and every administration from Mrs. Arroyo to Mr. Aquino to actually be part of the International Criminal Court. So I think it is something that the President, before the end of his term, should definitely explore.
Alright, then maraming salamat po sa inyong oras, Representative Terry Ridon. Thanks for joining
Maraming
us
salamat.
today. Thank you.
Magandang umaga.
Right, in other news, 17 Filipino seafarers from sunken vessel Magic Seas in Red Sea are all confirmed safe. In an interview with The Big Story, Migrant Workers Secretary Hans Leo Kakdak said they are scheduled to return to the Philippines on July 11. In a separate incident, Kakdak confirmed that the MV Eternity C has sunk after coming under attack near Yemen's coast. So far, 5 out of 21 Filipino crew members have been rescued as search operations continue. The Houthis claimed responsibility for the assault.
We met with the families. The president provided instructions to take care of the families. So we met with the families and the ship owner, who assured the families that there will be rescue operations.
In other news, U.S. President Donald Trump has set a 20% tariff on Philippine goods, higher than the 17% rate previously announced in April. The new rate, set to take effect on August 1, was revealed in a letter sent to the Philippine government along with 5 other countries. This is part of Washington's push to finalize new trade deals as Trump revisits tariff policies initially floated earlier this year. The move marks a significant increase from the 10% base tariff imposed on most trading partners.
Yung goods na yun, I don't know.
Una nung April,
an-
17%
Well,
Pero ngayon tumaas
may
ulit.
effect yan sa sales natin sa products with regards going to the US because of course, when you're there, magiging mas mura ang local goods for them. Kasi dito sa atin, di ba, may mga imported goods na mas mura, kaya tinatangkilik ng mga kababayan natin. But we also have to remember, not all imports or exports to the US natin are finished products. Sometimes we manufacture components that are part of a finished product. So if they impose tariffs also on the components that we will send to the US, tas i-assemble pa ng US company, in essence, baka yun ang sinasabi ng ibang mga senators sa US, baka tumaas din yung
Mas lalong tataas.
yung finished product nila. Kasi hindi naman lahat na pinapadala sa US finished product. I understand kung finished product papadala mo para maging competitive ang produkto nila, gagawin mo yun. Pero hindi naman lahat kasi ng nations tulad natin or Thailand or Indonesia or Vietnam nagpapadala ng finished product. As I said, we give components for cars, for computers, di ba, depending sa capacity ng nation. So, kung gagawin nila yan, tapos mag-assemble sa US, in essence, ang American-made products, baka tumaas ang presyo.
He said naman he's open to renegotiate until August 1 because this will take effect on August 1 as well as the other countries that were that the letters were sent to as well. Brunei, Bangladesh, etc. So medyo sabi din niya kung magpapataw din ng mag-counter patong, 'di ba?
Yeah.
Magdadagdag din daw sila on the same amount that it will
Pero parang ang ASEAN on principle parang
no, they don't.
They don't like to counter
yung mga trade war.
kasi it's useless daw eh. You
Pero
cannot
sinabi niya yun.
you cannot engage in an economic trade war with the United States, which is a superpower, an economic superpower as well from a military superpower.
Ito yung isa sa mga sinabi niya dun sa letter. We have had years to discuss our trading relationship with Bangladesh and have concluded that we must move away from these long-term and very persistent trade deficits engendered by Philippines' tariff and non-tariff policies and trade barriers, sabi niya. Our relationship has been unfortunately far from reciprocal.
Ang inaalo kasi nila is to create or foster organic growth within the American
the country.
industry.
Oo.
Because if you take a look at the American industry, ang hina na ng manufacturing nila.
Well, during his campaign, that's what he said
Yeah.
naman eh. 'Di ba? America first
I mean,
policies
yeah, I
na
mean,
all
look,
the time.
dati
In all aspects.
Dati Detroit used to be one of the largest manufacturers of automobiles, and they could even supply to other countries. Ngayon, even American car companies have their cars manufactured in Japan and Korea. And now China is also overtaking the automobile industry with a lot of good car
Hence, going
companies,
back
di ba?
to making America first policy.
That's why he's
That's why.
imposing these tariffs and these taxes.
Exactly.
Oo.
Anyway, we'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. Good morning. You're still watching News and Views here on One News. As some senators welcome the possible entry of Kiko Pangilinan and Bam Aquino in the majority, the Duterte bloc has separately committed its support for Senate President Chis Escudero. Here's the report.
Senator Bato de la Rosa supports Chis Escudero staying on as Senate President for the 20th Congress. According to Senator de la Rosa, part of the group they call the Duterte Seven, who have committed to support Escudero are Senators Bongo, Robin Padilla, Rodante Marcoleta, Amy Marcos, and Mark and Camille Villar. De la Rosa could not confirm whether all of them have signed the circulating resolution, but he said he himself has already signed it. He also clarified that Escudero did not offer or promise him any committee position in exchange for his support. De la Rosa added that he did not request for any committee either, as he is still chairing the Committee on Public Order after winning a second term. He said this is also not about the possible impeachment of his ally, Vice President Sara Duterte.
His stand towards impeachment is not a factor to our decision in choosing him as our Senate President. Ang pinaka-big factor dyan na nakikita ko lang talaga is yung pagka-open niya. Nakikinig siya. Lahat ng sides pinapakinggan niya. So yun ang nagustuhan namin na liderato.
While there is the Duterte Seven, there are also talks that Senators Bam Aquino and Kiko Pangilinan might join the majority bloc. In an interview with 1PH's Sa Totoo Lang, De La Rosa said he is open to them joining the Senate majority bloc, even joking that they're even kinder than him.
Wala man akong problema. Hindi naman mga masasamang tao yan sila. Mas mabait pa ngayon sa akin, mas masama pa siguro ako sa kanila. Wala naman tayong problema dyan.
Should it happen, Senator Bongo said he has no problem being in the same majority bloc as Aquino and Pangilinan.
Hindi naman porket magkaiba kayo ng partido ay magkasalungat na yung mga prioridad ninyo. Tandaan natin dito, interes ng bayan, interes ng Pilipino ang dapat nating unahin kung kahit anong partido po tayo.
Their campaign ally, Senator Risa Hontiveros, said she's not hurt by this possibility. According to her, each senator has the right to make their own decisions.
Hindi ako na-hurt dahil yun na nga sabi ko nga, basta patuloy akong maninindigan. Kung ang bawat isa sa amin ay may sariling diskarte, ako rin naman po, mananatili akong independent senator.
Well,
The last time
go ahead.
na we talked to Senator Kiko Pangilinan during the long conversation, sabi nga niya ay nag-uusap pa lang sila at that time nila Senator Risa Hontiveros and Senator Bam Aquino. But then again, of course, simula nang pumutok itong sinasabi, I think it came first from Senator Ming Zubiri na sinasabi niya, naku, ang di ko lang alam pero ang pagkakaalam daw niya ay magiging magsosolo itong si Senator Risa Hontiveros sa independent bloc at itong dalawa ay sasali ng majority. And they're saying also na the reason why daw na sila ay may possibility na sumali sa majority dahil dun sa mga committees that they want to get, to maging sila yung chairman.
Well, Senator Lacson said it best yesterday in I think in Storicon, when he said there are certain people, politicians that have a baseline principle and they have a top line principle and yung sad-sad principle. Ano yung parang ganun ang tono? Ano yung baseline? Ano yung pinaka-basic prinsipyo na kinatatayuan mo? May ibang politiko, pwedeng mag-adjust beyond the baseline or pwede angatin above the baseline. So siguro, ang tinatanong ng iba, ano ba ang baseline principle dati nila Senator Bam, sila Senator Kiko? Their baseline principles, number one, was they were opposing what happened nung martial law and not to let this injustice, ito yung prinsipyo nila before, happen again, to make sure the victims get what is due, corruption does not happen. And the people are saying, then why are they now adjusting their principles just to get committees? Parang Senator Lacson, for one, always received committees kung ano yung binigay niya, but he's always been effective without sacrificing yung baseline principles niya.
And sabi pa nga ng ibang nag-argue, bakit naman si Senator Risa Ontiveros, parang she only had at the 19th Congress yung Committee on Women and Family.
Well, sorry to say, but
which also ang nag-head nung hearings ng Kibuloy, Pogos, and naging successful naman.
kaya nga, parang hindi sa minamaliit yung committee na yon. It's just that ang tawag nila sa mga committee...
Kasi hindi kasi siya yung Blue Ribbon
No,
Committee.
kasi ang tawag nila dyan is LATAC committees. But I guess because dahil sa sipag ni Senator Risa na ihalin tulad niya yung naidikit niya yung nangyayaring abuses, so-called abuses kay Pastor Apollo Kibuloy, may relation sa Women and Family. So napakalaking issue na idikit niya sa committee niya. So kung magaling ka naman na senador, kahit anong committee pa.
Yung ibang mga supporters naman, of course, nila Senator Bam at saka ni Senator Kiko Pangilinan saying na, well, they're just, parang true to their campaign promise na gusto nila kasi isa sa agriculture, isa sa education. And makikita mo talaga dito yung kasi kawalan ng two-party system sa ating bansa. Kaya ganyan yung nangyayari.
And before we go, kailangan maalala ng mga politicians that more than a campaign promise, your principles is your identity. And if you lose your principles, then you technically lose your identity because you're merely just a follower. You're no longer a leader.
Well, tignan natin. Wala pa naman ng 20th Congress. We'll see by July after the SONA, kung yung mga realignments.
I'm just merely echoing the sentiment of people. Parang, identity? Wala na yung... It's now Duterte Marcos. What happened to what Ninoy Aquino Sr. fought for? Diba? Parang nawala na. Yun ang sinasabi ko.
Sasabihin nila, this is not just about a certain personality, but the Filipino people.
I did not say it's about a personality. I am saying their principles are down the drain because they want to get committee. We are losing principled politicians.
Tignan natin kung anong mangyayari.
Sabihin mo, hindi tayo nawawala ng politician may prinsipyo, ilan na lang yan. Sabihin mo sa akin.
Sinabi. Kaya
magbigay ka ng politiko ngayon.
Sinasabi ko lang yung argument nila.
Nagalit na si Direk kasi nag-aaway daw tayo. Alright, a new push to defend what is ours. Lawmakers form a West Philippine Sea bloc in Congress and file bills to strengthen the country's claims. Mobile journalist Amy Atienza has the report.
West Philippine Sea, atin ito. That is the battle cry of the West Philippine Sea bloc as they file bills in the 20th Congress. This Wednesday, the West Philippine Sea bloc launched and filed its first set of legislative measures for WPS. These include urging DILG to review agreements between China and Philippine LGUs, mandatory teaching of WPS history and geography in all levels, and declaring July 12 as a National WPS Victory Day.
We propose to have the DFA as the lead agency to implement yung National WPS Victory Day. So, kailangan may mga activities na i-organize ang DFA to commemorate that really very historic victory.
Well, siyempre, itong coalition ng isa sa inspirasyon ng mga kongresista na nagsama-sama para maging West Philippine Sea bloc. Kailangan natin ipaglaban ang atin. At klarong-klaro, hindi lang naman sa ruling sa The Hague, kung hindi pati sa national laws natin, na atin ang West Philippine Sea.
The WPS bloc is composed of Akbayan Representatives Chel Jokno, Percy Sendanya, and Dada Kiram Ismula, joined by ML Party List Representative Laila de Lima and Dinagat Islands Representative Kaka Bagao. Senator Risa Hontiveros is also part of the bloc. The bloc, led by Atinito Coalition, organized a Thanksgiving dinner that will commemorate the bloc's launch and remember the victory over the West Philippine Sea. Philippine Coast Guard spokesperson Jay Tariela says he will give his full support to the bloc's notion.
These are real concern na dapat nating tingnan, lalo na't alam naman natin ang laban natin sa West Philippine Sea, hindi lamang ito sa dagat. The Chinese government came up with different actions for them to undermine our own national interests.
Representative Jokno also assures
Siyempre, pagsisipagan natin yan at gagawin namin ang lahat para maging batas itong mga proposed bills namin.
There may be no certainty when this will end, but the fight of the WPS bloc and the Filipinos will continue. Mobile journalist Amy Atienza, we are One News.
Meanwhile, same group of lawmakers has filed a bill seeking to raise national awareness on the Philippines' claims over the West Philippine Sea. House Bill 1625 requires all schools to legally mandate teaching the 2016 arbitral ruling and the legal basis of Philippine jurisdiction over the West Philippine Sea to elementary and high school students. According to Akbayan Party List, the measure aims to counter pro-China propaganda and educate the youth about the country's sovereignty. The group stressed the need to arm young Filipinos with facts amid China's continued expansive claims in the South China Sea. The WPS bloc is composed of Representatives Shel Jokno, Percy Sendanya, Dada Ismula, Leila de Lima, Kaka Bagao, and Crisel Lagman Luistro. It's high time. Diba?
Okay,
Yun
like
ang
this
ginagawa ng China ever since, diba? Naka-instill sa minds ng kanilang mga kababayan nila na ever since sa kanila yung area na yun.
Then I like this move also of forming this bloc. Yung pinag-usapan kanina. It's because other countries with similar issues like this form departments, commissions, or yung mga blocks in Congress or Parliament to make sure that it is paid attention to. Kasi it is a problem that's been persistent throughout the last few decades, and it looks like it will continue to happen. Ang ganda ng
Para
ginagawa.
sa future generations din.
In all fairness to China, I mean, we don't like their stand on the West Philippine Sea, but what they're doing, what they're doing through education, I mean, grade
Bata pa lang talaga.
Parang grade 4 equivalent daw sa China. They're already teaching them history that South China Sea was theirs. So pag lumaki yung mga ito, pag na may naging politiko dyan, may naging businessman dyan, may naging sundalo dyan.
Yung patriotism nila iba.
Iba
diba?
ang stand
Kasi
nila.
na-instill
Paninindigan
na yun,
talaga nila.
Yung very foundation, diba, of their youth. So this is what they're going to do. Tingnan natin kung sino yung magsusupport sa bill na to. So they aim to educate elementary and high school students. I think further studies sa college meron.
Kasi look at yung mga videos na lumalabas sa interview. Ang West Philippine Sea, atin.
Ano ba yung West Philippine
Atin ba
Sea?
ito? Sasabihin daw ng bata, atin ito, atin ito.
Ano yan?
Bakit atin ang West Philippine Sea? Tapos nagkakamot ng ulo.
Saka ano ba yan? Diba?
So,
anong meron dyan?
they're
Bakit
only,
nila nagagawa?
ang tawag doon, passed down belief. In other words, ito tinuro ni Mami Daddy, ito nakita ko sa
Or
news.
narinig ko lang.
O narinig, at atin ito dahil Pilipino
Make it
ko.
formal,
Pero to explain
education.
why it is ours, you have to know that.
Yeah.
Right, don't go away. We're not done yet. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're still watching News and Views here on One News. The Department of Justice said the initial dive at Taal Lake for the remains of the missing Sabongeros pushes through today, Thursday. The operation is led by DOJ along with the PNP-CIDG and the Philippine Coast Guard. The Justice Department said the dive aims to map the suspected burial site of the Sabongeros. Authorities are acting on information provided by Julie Patidongan, or alias Totoy.
Meanwhile, Philippine Charity Sweepstakes Office Chairman and former Regional Trial Court Judge Felix Reyes has denied claims that he was involved in fixing cases for businessman Atong Ang. This follows accusations made by whistleblower Julie Patidongan, also known as Totoy. Reyes challenged Patidongan to name any specific case involving Ang or the missing Sabongeros that he allegedly influenced. He added that he is open to the Bureau of Immigration releasing his travel records since his retirement from the judiciary in October 2021. The PCSO chief questioned the timing of the claim, pointing out that it surfaced just a day after he filed his application to become the next ombudsman. Despite the controversy, Reyes said he is fully prepared to cooperate with any official investigation to clear his name of what he called baseless accusations.
Yan, kasi meeting daw sa Japan So,
mostly daw nag-meeting sila out of the country pa.
And kung maibangga nila sa sinabi ni ni Julie, ayun ay makikita mo na baka maging credible tong statement niya.
Other than looking for the missing bodies.
Outright
diba?
ba? Outright ba sinabi yung name nitong judge? Hindi naman, 'di ba? Parang sinabi lang from pieces
I'm not sure.
Parang hindi outrightly sinabi yet. But alam naman niya kasi siya pinatatamaan eh. Basta ang sabi lang ni DOJ Secretary Remulla, may pinasa sila sa Supreme Court and Supreme Court is taking a look at it seriously.
There was a meeting actually between the DOJ and the Supreme Court regarding these allegations nga. At syempre, sinabi ng Supreme Court through their spokesperson that they're taking this allegation serious kaya magkakaroon ng investigation.
Yeah.
But today is the day na magkakaroon nga ng yung search operations ng DOJ doon sa Taal Lake. Supposedly, sinasabi ni Totoy, alias Totoy, na meron daw doon ng mga doon daw dinump yung mga missing sabongeros. And also, they've already tapped yung sinasabi nilang may-ari nung fish pond doon sa area na yun, kung saan daw, apparently, according ulit kay alias Totoy, na nagsasubcontract doon sa kung sino yung mga pinapatay, doon nilalagay yung mga missing bodies. But of course, through PNP Chief Torres, sinasabi niya hindi lang doon yung mga possible body disposal, and they've already secured the areas pero hindi lang nila sinasabi kung saan.
Ano kayang fish pen yan? Buti hindi ako kumakain ng tawilis.
So that's why may mga yung scare ng mga taga Batangas doon na yung baba ng...
Wala naman daw effect.
Walang effect. Pero sinasabi nila yung baba ng benta at saka yung pagkain ng mga tao ng tawilis, because ever since nga may sinabi na may doon tinatapon na body doon sa Taal Lake, medyo nagkaroon sila ng agam-agam.
Pero ang isda umiinom ng tubig.
Oo.
Kung may bangkay doon,
hindi siya ikaw ba, kahit na hindi ka kumakain, isipin mo lang na
parang
meron doon.
kakain ka ba ng isda mula sa Manila Bay?
Although sabi nga hindi naman daw affected. Oo.
Hindi.
Diba? Of course not.
Diba? Yun lang.
So titingnan natin kung ano yung magiging initial result ng kanilang operation doon sa Taal Lake.
Alright, in weather, Pag-asa is monitoring a low-pressure area of extreme northern Luzon. It was last spotted some 540 kilometers northeast of Itbayat, Batanes. Its chance of developing into a tropical depression remains low. The LPA also has no direct impact on any part of the country. Still, rains are expected over several areas due to the southwest monsoon or habagat. Batanes, Babuyan Island, Zambales, Bataan, Cavite, Occidental Mindoro, and Metro Manila may experience occasional rains. Scattered or isolated rains are also expected over the rest of the country.
Now, once known online for his viral street surfing antics, a man from Cebu is now celebrating a bigger wave, graduating from the University of the Philippines. Para bigyan ng mukha ang balita, Mobile Journal, JF Rivera.
Basta surfing, ang na-imagine natin, malalakas na waves sa beach. Pero itong nag-viral na nakilala ko, kahit walang tubig, nagsusurf.
Ibang klase ang trip ng lalaking ito na sumikat dahil sa 15-second clip niya na ito. Siya si Jav Arnaiz Pontino o mas kilala ngayon bilang si street surfer, 23 years old, na tubong Cebu. Simpleng trip-trip lang daw ito ng barkada na hindi niya raw akalain na magva-viral.
Umuulan kasi yon, tapos nasa chapel lang kami, umuulan. Tapos ako yung tagapagpatawa ng barkada namin Tapos nakita ko yung tabla, yung kahoy. Wala pa sa atin, nag-skate lang ako, nagsasurf lang ako Tapos tawang-tawa sila. Hindi ko inasahan na mag-trending pala.
Maraming natawa sa kanyang video. At marami ring naasar.
Yung formahan ko pang-addict lang talaga, kaya na paggamalan din. Yung formahan ko talaga din Madami kasi akong tattoo. Tapos payatot pa ako. Kaya pinagkamalan talaga.
Pero aminado mang naapektuhan sa mga negatibong komento, ito raw ang nagturo sa kanyang maging mas matatag sa hamon ng buhay.
Hindi nila ako kilala yung totoong pagkaat ko. Ganyan lang yung mindset ko, kahit medyo naapektahan siguro, pero mas pinalagahan ko yung respeto sa isa't isa.
Kaya nga si Jav, tagumpay na nakagraduate sa kursong Associates in Arts and Sports Studies sa University of the Philippines, Cebu. Hindi man daw surfing ang totoong hilig niya, umikit na naman siya ngayon bilang arnis instructor.
Aside from studying, titrain po ako sa mga bata dito sa amin, anang arnis. I'm actually an arnis team captain sa UP Cebu. Then, dyan ko po nakukuha yung sideline ko dito sa amin.
Kaya si Jav, malaki pa rin daw ang ipinagpapasalamat.
Maraming salamat sa lahat ng sumuporta, sa lahat ng bumabatikos, kuno. Isa lang po yung masasabi ko, grab and don't waste.
Sabi nga nila, bawal ang judgmental. Lalo na sa internet kung saan karamihan ng ating nakikita, hindi naman natin lubos nakilala. Mobile Journal, JF Rivera po, hatid ang mukha ng balita.
What you see on
Good
the
news. Ang ganda ng
internet
balita.
naman talaga kasi is merely just a 0.% of that
But
person's
still,
personality.
there should be a lesson to everyone na not to judge people. Like, isipin mo, honestly, pag tayo, makita mo yan, kunyari naglalakad ka sa kalye, makita mo yung ginagawa niya sa daan mo, anong sasabihin natin? Oh, Teo, dito ka, delikado yan.
Oo.
Mag-react tayo ng ganyan. But it teaches a lesson in humility.
Yeah.
Na, teka lang, bago ka mag-judge, alamin mo muna, kasi malay mo,
Ano yung context ng video?
Not
Tulad
only
niyan,
video, but-
actually, nag-post yung kapatid niya. Kasi nga daw parang baka affected na masyado dahil nga may mga negative comments tungkol sa kanya. Tapos sabi, hindi nyo ba alam, yung kapatid ko, yan nga, nag-graduate na siya finally sa UP, ganyan-ganyan. So, yun lang. Tapos, ngayon, siya tinatawanan na lang niya.
No, but that
Nakikita
should
niya sa
also serve as a lesson for everyone. Not only dahil sa video, but how we interact with each other.
Yeah.
Kasi minsan lahat tayo nagiging judgmental di ba? Yung pala,
Or
mali-
nakabox tayo sa stereotype.
Yeah.
Typing.
Oh, na long hair
Okay,
na.
pag long hair, ganito.
Walang t-shirt, tapos
may
nagsasurfing.
tattoo, addict na. Yung mga ganon.
O, nagsasurfing sa walang tubig.
Oo, yun, di ba?
Ikaw naman kasi, nagsasurfing ka sa walang tubig, kaya akala namin may problema tayo Yung pala, arnis captain pa.
Diba?
Galing, galing.
Nagtuturo pa sa mga bata.
Oo, saludo kami sa iyo.
Mabuting puso siya.
Oh, yan.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Ay, ito, pakinggan,
And more power.
pakinggan mo tong quote of the day, Angela, para sumaya-saya naman ako. Spread love everywhere you go. Let no one ever come to you without leaving happier.
Okay.
Mother Teresa.
All right.
And that wraps up today's episode of News and Views.
Join us again tomorrow. I'm Angela Lagunsad Castro.
I'm Angelo Castro III. We are One News.
All sides, all the time.